guys, welcome back. So today we're going to take a look at this Tru-Spin Propeller balancer. Okay, we're going to put it together. I'm going to show you how to put it together, and we're actually going to work on getting the propeller to spin smoothly on the balancer. There's a couple little tricks I can give you. This is not my balancer. I have one. Okay, I have a balancer and it worked great. It's old and it just works. The more you use these things, the better they work. Right? Also got a package from the same subscriber that sent me this. I'm working on this for him, and I actually have a few props to prep up for him. So we got an X452, an M645, a looks like a Boat Propeller stock sonic wake, and a couple of RC Boat BITZ propellers. Just wants to check, make sure they are balanced before he puts them on his boat. Ooh, that one looks good. Oh, that's a good looking prop. Yeah, so it's been a minute since I put mine together, but once you put it together, you really don't have to disassemble it. So you have your Tru-Spin base, you have your instructions, because this is actually a multi-use balancer. Okay, you can balance airplane propellers, you can balance RC car wheels on it. Okay, balance big propellers like you would a wheel. Okay, so multi-purpose. All right, then you have your sides, the base. These sides have a wheel on them. Okay, and these wheels, they look like they're out of balance, but they're not. Right, they wobble side to side. It's okay. So let's get this thing put together. Take these pins and I remove the nut off each pin, and I basically just kind of press it into the base like so. Okay. Grab these little curled knobs. Okay, basically put them on like so, right? Okay, you slide this in the base, and then you tighten down the post. Okay, and then you just kind of cinch down that thumb knob, right? Basically, you want to find these four little critters right here, okay? And you put them on each post, right? Boom, boom, boom. Okay, and then you insert those into this little hole right here, okay? Either side, it don't matter, they're both the same sides. Same design. And when you do this, you don't want the bottom of it sitting on these thumb screws, you know. Well, I mean, I guess it could sit on it, but you don't want it like this, right? You want it sitting like this on top of it, not beside it. Okay, then you get your little thumb knobs and screw them in. Now, you don't want these too tight on the side of this. Okay, if you make these too tight, it could put pressure on this plastic case right here and slow the pin, the spin of the wheel. Slow the it could you know, warp the case, and the pins may not spin freely. Okay, so you could put them on the inside or the outside. I found it best to run it on the outside. If you want to, you can go ahead and put these guys right here, these two extra nuts in the bottom, in case you do end up using it for an airplane or tire balancer. Okay, this is basically what you're gonna end up with. Okay, basically set it the same height. Just if you just set it right on top of these thumb screws that are like flush to the base, that should be a good height for you. Okay, and then just kind of cinch it down lightly, not too tight. That one spins great. That one spins great. This one I had to work to get it to spin that good. Wow. So damn, I hate to even put any of this graphite powder in it, but I am. So what I do is I put just a drop. That's more than I would like to put in there. Okay, I put a little drop there. Put a little drop there. You don't wet this at all. Do not wet it. Okay, do not wet. Don't get this thing wet. Damn, that thing was smooth. A little graphite powder there. A little bit on there. Not much. Don't take much. A little bit on there. This is dry lube, you know. Dry lube. So, Mino's probably going to kick my ass for getting this brand new balancer all dirty, but this is the way to do it. This is what I use. Dry lube for this bad boy. Oh yeah, you can hear it. I can hear it. Listen to that sucker roar. So let's talk balancer basics, okay? So you put your pin on, and you see how it's walking to the right there, okay? So that's telling me this side is slightly lower than this side. So we need to loosen these up slightly, move it up. It's probably my table that's, you know, misbalanced. Okay, it's still walking. See that? See how it's going the opposite way now? There we go. I got it balanced, level. Okay. We went over the graphite. I went and put graphite in it. That helps out. I want to talk about the pin. Okay. So sometimes you can get these balancer pins, and these cones right here can be slightly heavy on one side. So what you do is, I guess you want to start off with your pin. Make sure your pin's balanced or straight. Okay. If it's heavy, it'll actually stop on one side, right? It'll fall heavy on one side. If that's the case, you get you some like 500 grit, and then you mark the heavy side, and then you hit the heavy side, right? Then you can check your cones. Okay, so I've already balanced this cone out. It was kind of off slightly. Spin it. You see how it wants to fall low on that marked side? I'm gonna spin it again on the shaft, make sure it's not something I'm doing wrong. Okay, so it fell right there. Seems like where it's falling low. Okay, you see before it would fall heavy on one side. Okay, so what I did is I would mark the heavy side, right? Mark it with a marker. Okay. Find the heavy side. Let's pretend that black mark's the heavy side. Okay, I took that off. At first I was working on this part right here, but I decided to hit the back or the side of the cone. I would actually put it flat, but I would put pressure on the side with the mark on it. So I was pulling material. Flat, but more material would come off with the side with the mark that I had the pressure on. I would basically run it across my paper. Not like that. I would keep it flat, but I would put the pressure on there, okay? And I would actually go back and forth. Back and forth with this cone until I got this cone balanced, okay? And then I took this cone off. I did the same thing to the other cone. As you can see, it's got some sanding marks on it. And this cone is balanced. Okay, so when you put both cones on, both cones should be balanced. Should stop anywhere and not favor one side like it just did. Okay. So I kind of need to go back to the drawing board, but it's much better than it was before. And you can't do it with both cones on. You have to take each cone off, find the imbalance on each cone. If your pin's imbalanced, then you're not going to be able to get your cones balanced. So you got to work the pin first, then each cone, and go from there with it. Okay, so let's just say these are balanced, which they are. It's just slightly off, not much. You can work with that. It's going to be completely fine. Okay, slight imbalance, not a major imbalance in your cones and your balancer pin. If it's got a major imbalance, you're never going to get a perfect balance. Okay, so geez Louise, spring. So you put cone number 1 on your prop, cone number 2. You got to make sure the prop is in that cone. The hub of the prop is in the cone. Then you put your spring on, then your washer. Now I actually change out the stock. I changed it out. I don't like the stock silicone. It's too short. It don't really hold the spring tight. So this silicone tube right here was on my file for a handle, and it works so good for this balancer to keep everything nice and tight. And it's got a low profile, so it's a 4mm silicone tube basically with a really small inside diameter of, well, I guess it's smaller than 3mm, because it's actually a really tight fit, and that actually holds my spring pretty tight, even if there's like oil from your hands on the pin. So basically the RC Boat BITZ prop, what I like to do is I'll put it on there, check for balance, especially if I'm working on finishing the balance of a prop. Like this prop's pretty much balanced. You see how it don't really hang low on one side or the other. It's like stopping anywhere. And what I'll do is I'll spin this cone, I'll spin this cone, or you can just spin one cone, and I'll check the balance 4 or 5 times before I call it done, because these cones, they are prone to imbalance. Like my cones, they are wore slap out, but they still balance. And I just kind of rotate them just to double, triple, quadruple check my finished product. While you're working the prop, it's not really a big deal, but once you start getting toward the end of your finished prop and it needs to be 100% balanced, that's when you start really, fine-tuning the balancer. Make sure everything's checked 5, 6, 7 times, before you say, hey, it's done, it's completely balanced. So this RC Boat BITZ prop, it's balanced. It don't need any attention. It's perfect. I would run that prop. I would run it. I would run that prop all day. Okay, so I've been working on this M645. Yeah, M645, which, by the way, this prop is boss. Okay. I've been working on this prop on and off since I got the balancer. It's not done yet, but let's throw it on here. and see about where it's at. Should be pretty close. I'm going to detongue this 452 right here for him. Yeah, it's pretty close. Still got a heavy blade, and I've noticed that it always falls on that one side, the heavy blade. So we gotta remove material off this heavy blade right here. Okay. Before I let you go, figured I would show you what a balanced M645 looks like. Okay. This prop has been previously prepped, but it wasn't 100% balanced. Okay, so I had to take material off both blades. I kind of reprofiled them slightly, but the main thing that was throwing this prop off was the hub. So you see my sanding scratches from my little micro file, and this side don't have it. Looks like they've taken material off the hub with like a grinder or something. I like to use a file. I mean, you can use whatever the heck you want to, but this was throwing it off. So it's balanced now. It stops anywhere. Okay, it was always falling low on this side regardless. It would go heavy blade, and then the other, I would take material off, then that blade would go heavy, then this blade, it would, you know, it would sit perfectly level, but it would never land this side up. So I actually had to take material off this hub. You know, that was a last resort. Messing with the hub is the very last resort, right? So it's balanced. So now what I'm going to do is go through and sharpen it. Okay, I wanted, like I said, I wanted to thin it out, but he opted not to thin the blades. I would get it much thinner than this. You know, something like my blades are thin, boy. I get them so thin. Look at that. You see how thin this blade is? Super thin. That's what I wanted to do to this. So I'm going to sharpen it up. So I mean, it's pretty sharp, but we're going to get it sharp as hell since the blades aren't thin, you know, but it's balanced. So hopefully this helps you guys out, you know, balancing the pin, then balance the props, right? Get the balancer spinning smoothly with the graphite powder compressed air. Make sure it's level. That's pretty important. And you should be well on your way to getting some pretty balanced props. You know, if you're running out of balanced props on your boat, you'll hear it, you'll see the vibration, you'll feel the vibration, you know, and it will bend your shafts over time. It will wear out the bushings and bearings in your struts and stingers. So having a balanced propeller is crucial in this hobby, and it just takes time, you know. So we'll see you guys next time. I appreciate you watching. Like, comment, subscribe if you found this video helpful.